Hello friends, today we will going to discuss the next part of organizational skill which we have discussed in the last session where we are discussed about the two components. Today we will going to discuss about the next component of organizational skill. See, whenever we are telling about an enterprise, the organizational skill for a manager or an organizer or an administrator is very, very essential. The one must have a proper organizational skill carry out the better activities of the organization. See, in the last session, we have discussed the two components of organizational skill. One is supervision and another one is controlling. Okay, there are four components in a organizational skill. First one is controlling, supervision, problem solving, and monitoring and evaluation. So after the third component, important component of an organizational skill is problem solving. See, whenever we are telling about an enterprise or any business, the problem is a common factor. In each and every stage of the activities, you will come across the small or a large problem or a serious or a simple problem. So one must have this skill also. Whenever a problem arises, the organization or the administrator or a manager must have that skill to solve the problem of that situation, to make the business run in a proper way, smooth way, and to achieve the target. So the problem solving skill help you to determine the sources of problem and find an effective solution. The problem solving is not just that you are solving a problem. How you could able to solve a problem? First thing is you have to find out where is the source and find out the solution for it. See, actually, the problem solving is one of the important skill usually the individual used to have. Everybody cannot have the same ability of solving a problem. Sometimes some may be having a higher ratio, some may be having in a lower ratio. But it is a separate skill. It is recognized as a separate skill a manager will be having with respect to the problem solving. So the problem solving is very essential to make the activities run in a smooth and a proper way. Now we will see some of the key problem solving skills. What are some of the skills which is very essential to involve yourself in effective problem solving? The first one is active listening. See, when you want to solve a problem, you must know what are all the sources of problem, what makes the initiation of the problem. For that, you must be an active listener. Active listener is nothing but you should listen from your employees or subordinates or the worker who are involved in a particular activities where the problem is there. So one must see that or listen that. For example, if there is a fighting between the two children in a house, so we have to solve the problem between them means first we should listen from both of them. Then only we can come out with the solution. That is what is required. You must listen actively. That means don't interfere or conclude or give your solution immediately. First listen what is actually the problem is there. And then after listening each and everything, you can come out with the effective solution. And the next one is analysis. When you listen properly, analyze the things. Based upon our experience, based upon the knowledge, based upon the situation we have come across, this help us to analyze whatever the information we listen from others. Once the analysis is over, we will do the research. Research means it is nothing but in a technical term, once you get the feedback from our workers, why this problem has come. For example, when you are running an enterprise, but this day you have not got the raw material which is required to run that particular business. So we will ask our subordinates, why you have not got the raw material now? Because today you have to go for a production. So the subordinates will give their reason why it has not come. Maybe they'll tell that there is a breakdown of the vehicle. Maybe that person is not receiving the phone call, or maybe there is a problem, strike or something. It has happened. Or raw material from the source itself has not been dispatched from there. So this is what we listened. Then we will analyze. So after listening everything, based on our experience, we may analyze. This might have been happened. Maybe there is a puncture. Maybe the driver is not serious. Maybe they have not dispatched, or there may be something problem may be there. Then we will do a research. For example, research is nothing but, see if this is the problem, how I could able to overcome this. Or if this is the problem, what are all the main cause for this problem that I could adopt in my future problem solving process. See, the raw material has not reached to the site or for the business field. I will do the research. If it is not available, from where I can get today. So whatever the minimum required raw materials can I get from this way? That is what the research I'll do. If it happens like this in future, what I can make alternate arrangement, that also I will do the research to solve, to come across that problem. Once the research is over, next comes the creativity. Creativity means how you could able to solve the problem based on your skill, your creativity. For example, the raw material is not there. How to engage an employee? How to fulfill that requirement of a product? Maybe I may not get from any source the immediate supply of that raw material. I can make use of that resource of a human in maybe grading, maybe packing, maybe in other quality management aspects. How effectively I could make? How effectively I can manage my worker and my business, which is not going to hamper for a particular period. Next comes is the communication. After I'm coming out with some solution for it, maybe in a positive way, maybe in an alternate way. So I have to communicate it to my employees. I have to say, like this we will do now, and this will help us to overcome the problem. Tomorrow we will going to solve all this problem. So I have to communicate effectively and efficiently so that the workers or my subordinates should agree with me. And next comes is the dependability. When you communicate, it does not mean that whatever you told will be done by them. You are depending upon all those people also, and how effectively your solution is taken into consideration by your fellow people. So the dependability is always there. When you are working in an organization with 3 or 4 or 5 people, all are depending upon each other in completing a particular task. Next is the decision making. Once everybody comes together, dependability means when you give a solution, some worker may say that, or some subordinate may say that, instead of this, we could go for this. This could be, your decision could be made better by applying like this. So they may give some suggestion. So based on that, you have to take a right decision which could able to solve the problem at a particular situation. And when you are going to take a decision by discussing with your fellow people, that help you to build a team. See, when you are going to become an authoritative and tell that, see, if a raw material has not come, you go and do the grading work. That means authoritatively you are going to advise them, or you are commanding over them, they may not listen. You take everybody into confidence, ask them how it could be solved and what alternate could be done. Then it helps us to build a team, and together we could able to solve the problem or overcome the situation at a particular period. Now we will see how to improve our problem solving skills. First thing, whenever we are telling the problem solving skill is one must have a proper technical knowledge in a specific field. For example, I don't know how the raw material comes and why these raw materials are required for particular activities. That only I am lacking knowledge means I cannot able to solve the problem of unavailability of raw materials. So once you want to solve a problem in a particular field, maybe in a production, maybe in a marketing, maybe in a management, maybe in a human resource, see, in that particular field, one must have a proper knowledge. See, that means knowledge means in terms of technical knowledge, how I could make. For example, we used to say that the mother are very good manager in a house because they know each and everything, how I could manage my children, husband, even food materials, cooking style, quantity of cooking. They never waste, or they will never make shabby. They never mix up or mingle anything. Same work is given to a father, they cannot do it, or the person who is not having any knowledge about that, they may waste it, or they may be lot of hampering in the day-to-day activities. So to solve a problem, first minimum thing one must have is they must acquire a better technical knowledge with respect to a particular field. And the next one is seek out opportunity to problem solving. Always, whenever the problem arises, you must take a lead to solve that problem because you have knowledge on a particular field. You are very technically sound. You know how to get it done from them. Then you must go and involve yourself in solving a problem of particular situation. If you involve yourself, based on the experience also, you could able to solve the problem of the other situation also. See, experience makes man perfect. Whenever the opportunity comes, you involve actively in solving a problem such that this experience help you to involve yourself better in other situation also to solve the problem. And next is do practice the problem. That does not mean that whenever you want to involve in a problem solving, you must practice it. Simply sometimes impromptu we can do, but sometimes impromptuness will not work. You have to prepare yourself for a particular situation. See, we know that in our house children are fighting and we can able to solve the problem. If you go to there is a fighting between my children and a neighbor children, I should practice myself how I could politely solve this problem. In my house I can scold both of my children or beat them and I can solve the problem. I can take any measure impromptu without any preparation. But it is comes to the neighbor's children, I have to be very much careful and I should practice it, and then I should be very sensible in solving that problem. That's why when you want to improve your problem solving skill, you must practice it and you must be very attentive in solving a problem at a particular situation. And the next comes is observe how others problem solve. That means how others will going to deal with the problem. See, usually a child will learn from their parents. Usually we used to see that the psychologist or the child psychologist used to tell us that the children will not learn from what you tell, children will learn from how you are going to do. The same thing, when we have grown up from our life also, we learned each and everything by observing our parents, grandparents, or the persons around us. See, that is what the people will learn fast. Like that also, being an effective problem solving person, one must observe how others involve themselves in solving a problem. By observing that, we can also acquire a skill that in future, if any problem comes, that principle I can use in solving a problem of a particular situation. Now we will see the different stages or the steps involved in a problem solving. The different authors have given a different steps in solving a problem, but in this problem solving process, it involves the 7th step. That is, first is define the problem, analyze the problem, establish the criteria, consider possible solutions, decide on a solution, implement the solution, and follow up on the solution. There are 7 stages. Somebody may give 5 stages, some may have given 10 stages, but all are somehow synonymously involves majorly these 7 stages. So now we will see one by one the stages involved in the problem solving, or the steps involved in problem solving. The first thing is to identify the problem. What is the actual problem? If you don't know what is the problem, we cannot able to give a solution to the problem. So the first step in the problem solving is to identify the issue. That is, what is the actual problem should be known clearly. By listening this issue, how we will going to identify the problem? We should listen from each and everybody who are involved in this situation to tell them what is actually problem. You should listen. For example, when there is a fighting in a house, as I have given you, maybe you take in an organization or an enterprise where the laborers are having a fighting and there is a strike for that. We must know why this strike started immediately. So we will call the union leader or maybe other 2 persons. Alternatively, they will call and discuss. And this separate discussion and listening from different people will help us to identify what is the core problem involved in this situation. Once you could able to identify the issue, understand everyone's interest. Interest are the needs that want satisfied by any given solution. That means interest are nothing but a need that has to be satisfied by giving a solution. So we must understand everybody's interest. Why the people have gone for strike in an organization or in a business or in an enterprise? Mainly they want hike in a salary. When we discuss with everybody, somebody has told the hike in a salary. They want improved salary or they have 10% hike in the salary. This is what is the everybody's interest is to get a higher salary than what they are getting. So we must understand that everybody's interest to which they are attached, and based on everybody's interest, we can give a solution. That solution will could able to help in satisfying the requirement of everyone's interest. Many times what happens, there may be a difference. The management will not agree, employees will not leave. That fighting will go on. So always being a manager or administrator, one must put down the differences for a while and listen actually what is their problem and initiate and try to understand the actual situation they are coming across so that you can solve the problem. And next is list the possible solution. The possible solution means if the workers want hike in a salary in an organization or a business, we must come out with what are all the solutions we can take up. They want 10% means we can say them that we can give only 2% now. After 2 years, we can increase another 2% like that. Maybe somebody say that no, instead of that, we will give 5%. Somebody may say that no, based on their salary, the 10% hike salary will be there, but they have to contribute this much of work for the organization. So many solutions may they come out. That's why, so you have to come out with the possible solution through some brainstorming sessions, and you should list out based on the priority, what could be the solution that will going to fulfill the interest or satisfy the interest of the many people. Once you have come out with the many options to solve those problems, list down those problems according to the priority. The prioritize based on the evaluation and the options given to you. See, you may be having 100 solutions, but I cannot implement all the 100 solutions, or I cannot try all the 100 solutions with my worker. So at that time, I have to list it, evaluate it, and give them option, which is the first, second, third, and fourth. So I have to prioritize all those options, which is essential. And then I should move towards the selecting an option or the options. So once I list out based on evaluation and the opinion or the options available, I have to select one option or maybe one or two options that may give me the solution to satisfy the interest. Then the document the agreement. Once you have selected the option, tell it or write it down, and you take a agreement from your employees also who are under strike from the management, and all the details of implications, everything should be done. So once it is agreed by both of them, then actually it could be implemented. That means we cannot say the solution orally. You have to write it down or document it then as an agreement, and it has to be certified by both the management and the workers. Agree on contingencies, monitoring, and evaluation. Once the agreement is over based on the solutions or the options I have selected, so then the next term is they used to do the monitoring. For example, I have given a 10% hike in the salary, but the thing is you have to contribute me 2 hours extra work in the organization. So this is what the agreement made, and this is what the solutions they have given. So once the solution is given, you should not stop there. You should move that, you should see that whether they are doing it. I am giving 10% hike in the salary, whether they are contributing or not. For that, there is a need to go for monitoring and evaluating. If they are contributing 2 hours extra to the organization, you should be very happy that 10% increase or hike in a salary help us to get the additional manpower. So you can evaluate whether it is in a positive way or a negative way. If it is in a positive way, I can use it for future. If it is a negative way, I should rectify it and do it in a better way. Now, the fourth component of an organizational skill is monitoring and evaluation. We used to say this monitoring and evaluation from our childhood days. See, when we were studying, we used to have this practice, that is nominating one person as a monitor of the class. Monitor, what he will do, whenever the teacher is not there, he will monitor whole class, and who will talk or make galata in the class, he will write down all the names and all. That is what is the important component which has started with us from our childhood days. And evaluation, once we write the exam, evaluation will be done. These two words are attached with us from our childhood as our education started. So in an organization or in a business also, the monitoring and evaluation is very, very essential. Whatever the work you do, you should monitor it properly and evaluate it whether it is running in a proper way or not. Now we will see what is monitoring. Monitoring is a regular observation and recording of activities taking place in a project or a program. It is a process of routinely gathering information on all aspects of the project. That is nothing but the monitoring is not on a continuous basis, on a certain intervals. For example, I used to tell you that when you are in a school, when there is no teacher, only your work used to start. That means you used to monitor. Same thing here also. On timely basis or on a regular interval basis, you used to see that or observe and record the activities, that whether it is taking place according to the objectives of the project or the program, whether it is moving according to the goals set forth or not. This has been done routinely on a time interval or on a regular interval basis. Whereas the evaluation is done at the end, that is, we are assessing the things in the evaluation or assessing a project, activities or the programs, policies, whatever maybe they have done, how it has performed. For example, what we will do when exams comes. See, when there is exam is announced, everybody will start reading and preparing for the exam. So whenever we will read, our parents used to monitor us regular interval. They will come and see that whether we are reading or not. Not always, they won't sit in front of us. They will come in a regular interval and check that whether we are in line with the reading process or not. But once the exam got over, your evaluation will start. Once you write the paper, teacher will evaluate and allot you the marks. That is what is the difference between the monitoring and evaluation. Monitoring is done in a regular basis in between the project or a program or any activities on a regular interval basis, whereas the evaluation is done at the end to know the worth of a thing, whether it is successful or not. If it is failed, why it has failed, whether it is successful, what is the reason behind it for the success, that could be used for your future project. Now we will see what are the types of monitoring. The first type of monitoring is process monitoring or physical progress monitoring. See, in the process monitoring, here routine data is collected and analyzed in order to establish whether the project task or the activities are leading towards the intended goal or the result. The process monitoring or physical process monitoring is nothing but the progress. They used to check in terms of data. They will ask how many employees has come, what is the output, everyday data they will take. From Monday, 10 members have come, 10 quintal has come. Tuesday, 15 has come, 20 quintal has come. And Wednesday, the 30 members have come and only 25 quintal has come. This is what is the thing they used to give. Whether the target they have put forth is to achieve in a week, they want to produce about 150 tons of the produce, means whether I can reach it or not with the manpower what is there. So like this, the process monitoring means during a project period, they will collect the data, analyze it and see that whether our objective is or whether our work is progressing in accordance with the objective which has been set forth, such that we can achieve the target within a time limit. And the next one is the technical monitoring. The technical monitoring involves assessing the strategies. That means we used to have a certain strategies. If you employ 10, only 10 quintal could be, 10 tons could be done. So better it is go for 30, so that we can produce 30 tons. This is what we may come across the strategies. Or we will going to standardize 25 employees are enough to come out with 30 tons. Like that. The technical monitoring is nothing but in terms of the strategies we have developed to do the work of a project or implement the project to establish whether it is in moving in a right direction, whether whatever the strategies I have adopted is moving in a right and giving success to the project or not. If it is not, the strategies are failing, then I have to come out with some alternate strategies to reach the goal in a given time. And the last one is assumption monitoring. Assumption monitoring means it is also called as the predictable monitoring. When I'm running a project, if 10, I told 10 employees will going to produce 10 tons and 20 is producing only 15 tons, that means that it is not in equal to that of the 10 employees what we are expecting. So then I will going to predict. So if it comes like this only, I cannot complete my work in a 1 week. That is about 150 tons production I have to do in a 1 week. That cannot be. So I am assuming it. If I am running like this, my business, I cannot reach the target or the goal which I set forth. So what alternate I can do to achieve that? That is assuming the factor which might determine the project success or failure. Maybe sudden rain may come, sudden that is load shedding may be there. Employee may not come for the work. All these are the predictable monitoring that I will going to predict or assume all those factors that may impact on success or failure of a project and has no control over it. I cannot control all those things. That is what is called as an assumption monitoring. Next is the financial monitoring, which is very, very essential. See, each and every project will be having certain financial aspects. And for each and every activity, they have distributed the financial aspects for that. Production, marketing, packing, raw materials, everything. So financial monitoring is also very, very essential to know that whether the expenditure on a different programs is in line with whatever the budget prepared for that. For example, if I have allotted 30 lakh rupees for raw materials, if I am consuming about 50 lakhs means my financially things are imbalanced according to the budget I have made. So that has to be monitored. If I have occurred 20 lakhs extra in raw material, where I can manage, where I can reduce, where I can hike, where I can minimize it. That has to be monitored to see that program our business has to run in a financial budget which have been prepared for that particular business. And the next one is the impact monitoring. Impact monitoring is a continuously assess the impact of a project activities. That is how this project has impacted on a population or impact on maybe on financial status, on employees, on production, on marketing, each and every aspects. So how this project has impacted on that. Indeed, impact are usually the long-term effect of the project. See, impact cannot be told in a 1 year, 6 months or 2 years. It will take a long period, maybe 5 years, 10 years. Then only we can say. So for till that time, we can monitor that what will be the impact, whether I'm in a positive way or a negative way. If I am in a negative way, how I could make it positive, like that. If it is I'm in a positive way, how I can improve it in better way. So these are all about the different types of monitoring that will be done in a different stages of a business or an enterprise. And the next comes is the types of evaluation. The first one is the formative evaluation. The formative evaluation is this is a type of evaluation also referred as a baseline survey. That means I can say that before starting any business or an enterprise, I should have a first-hand information about all those activities. For example, I want to start one dairy unit. If I want to start a big commercial dairy unit in a particular place, I should get a baseline survey of that particular area with respect to a commercial dairy before implementing my project. This formative evaluation is conducted mainly to review the existing status in a population. For example, if I want to run a dairy in a commercial way, means I should know what is the demand for milk or a milk product. What is the cost they will going to incur, whether I am going to get a raw material for that, whether the manpower is available or not. See, all these things has to be done in a formative evaluation, that is baseline survey has to be done before implementing the project. And the next one is the midterm evaluation. That means once the project has been started in maybe a midway, they used to evaluate the project that the project is heading towards the goal set forth or not, whether my project is in line with the objectives or not. If it is moving away from the objectives, I can bring that project in line with the objectives based on this evaluation. And here the management and control decision by to make the project move in a right direction is done by the project management. And the next one is summative evaluation. Summative evaluation is a type of evaluation. It is done at the end of the project. Once the project is got over or completed, they will going to evaluate the project, whether the project is successful, could able to achieve the objective set forth in a short period of time, what are all the drawbacks, what are all the strong points, where it could be made better, or what are the better points could be used for the future, has been done in the summative evaluation. Summative means at the end, after the completion of the project, they will going to search for the worthiness of that project. And the next one is ex-post evaluation. Ex-post evaluation is also called the post-implementation evaluation. That means once the project got over after 5-6 years, we will see that how it has created impact on the population or the target group. That is the ex-post evaluation. See, that is once the result has come. Summative evaluation is for after the result, and ex-post evaluation is done after the 2-3 years after the result has come. That is what is called as a ex-post evaluation. I hope that you have understood all the organizational skills required for a manager or administrator in an enterprise. You should know it. The 4 important are the supervision, controlling, problem solving, and monitoring and evaluation. And each and every stage, not only in the business, maybe in the life, All these skills are very essential to run any enterprise or any activities in a success. Thank you so much. I hope you got my point.